Hi, this is Barbara Stevens, and I'm going to speak to you about digital identity. Um, well, I got to speak about mines. For me, having the internet and my phones, the ability to email, text, whatever you can do with your phone, the iPhone allows me to do all these things, but whatever has to do with outgoing of communication to another, I consider myself to be the same person both online and in person. I don't consider myself to be a separate entity or a separate person with a separate personality, because when I give myself, I'm giving who I am. That's why I don't use avatars, because I wanted people to see me, Barbara, the picture, not some cartoon or some make believe stuff that simulated cartoon. Um, what I like about the internet is that it does allow me to communicate with people like family. Before I joined Facebook, I dealt with family that I knew about, but since I've joined, I've found family all the way over to California, from all the way to Florida. We have family all over the world that I'm able to communicate with just because I have Facebook. Before then, I didn't know anything about this family. I didn't realize how big our family was until I got on Facebook, and that's a plus for me because I like having big families. Um, Another thing is, before before I had my accident in 2014 at a college I was attending, um, I wouldn't say I was like totally into the internet, that it was all my life and everything. Um, Now I'll change that because that's all I really have right now. Being disabled, so I can't move around like I used to. So the only way to communicate and be able to have communication with somebody is when I get on Facebook, when I get on Instagram, when I get on when I answer emails back and forth with different people and everything. Um, yeah, that allows me to have communication with people. With the reading that we had to do with this, I want to talk about a couple of things from Abba. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Abha, Abba Dawson. She talks about the life in digital now. Um, and she mentions one thing like it's nothing like a crisis. She spoke about Sandy, that would make you see how important the digital world is. And she says, nothing like a crisis to tell you what's really important and what's not. And Sandy made me realize that our devices and the connectivity matter to us. I didn't realize that until we had a blackout, and I'm talking about total blackout. Everything was out. All I had was my phone, and we had to use that for light. But other than that, everything in the house was dark and gone. The power goes out. It was weird. And immediately I grabbed my phone and was able to communicate to the world that we're in a dark spot right now. I mean, it was just in our county, but I'm just saying, I just allowed myself to get on Facebook and say, man, I can't believe it's dark outside. So talk about that, and then she talks about our story of our life is based on direct experiences, but it's embellished. And then in 5 minutes to end, she talks about times arrows pointing everywhere and routes and nowhere at once. This is because time doesn't flow in the digital world the same way it flows in the world. What that means is that it could be 9 o'clock our time, but if we talk to someone over in a different country, it's a different time there. It could be 9 o'clock here, nighttime. It could be morning time over there, but that doesn't stop us from communicating. It's because of that that allows us to communicate. Um, Another thing she talks about, I know this is Connected But Alone. Connected But Alone by Sherry Turkle. She's a psychologist, and what excites her, she says, most was the idea that we would use what we learn in the virtual world about ourselves, about our identity, to live better lives in the world. To me, I says learning the difference about the video world and ourselves can really excite you. I was there back in 2002. I didn't have a cell phone and I didn't know anything about the internet. However, since 2002, I've had a cell phone with one company for 15 years and I've been on the internet for 15 years. I've met plenty of people and different time spans, and we just had a good time. At that time, it helped me deal with at that time I was dealing with a divorce and dealing with the fact that I almost lost my life. So that was a virtual world was a welcome change, mainly because I didn't have to meet anyone in person at that time. Um, and She also wrote, what I found is that our life um, derives through little devices in our pockets are so psychologically powerful that they don't only change what we do, they change who we are. Not really sure about that one. I agree with only because I don't feel like I have changed until my accident, in which landed me in a wheelchair before 2004. I'm the same person on and off digital world, and since 2014, the only change is that I'm online more than I have been before the accident, and people then going in 2 minutes and 59 seconds, it says people that text or do email during corporate meetings, they text and shop and go on Facebook during classes. I have to agree with that one because I used to do that because I always had my work done. So I remember being in class and I'd be on Facebook and listening to the teacher at the same time. Um, and then 622, she said, what's wrong with having a conversation? People say, I'll tell you what's wrong with having a conversation. It takes place in real time and you can't control what you're going to say. This is true because if someone don't want to hear you, what you have to say, they will either ignore you or they don't pay attention to you. I feel like when you write a note or type in a note or something, you allow yourself to be heard because bottom line is texting, emailing, posting, all these things. Let us present oneself as we want it to be. That's her saying that, and I feel that writing down your feelings helps you get everything out and received, and to read it or ignore it. So, to answer these questions, um, I find myself on the internet more because, like I said, I'm in a wheelchair, so I have limited ability to get around unless my husband's home and able to take me around. So I use the internet for communicating, marketing, because I'm an author, so I'm trying to get my book sold. I'm a artist, so I'm trying to get my painting sold or drawing sold. So I use the internet for those reasons, and for social network like Facebook, I communicate with my family. This is going past time, so I gotta cut it short.